Did you ever notice how Spider-Man takes way longer to turn to dust in Infinity War? When Thanos snaps his fingers, almost everyone else disappears instantly, usually within 1 or 2 seconds. But Peter Parker doesn't. He stumbles, panics, and even has time to talk to Tony Stark before he fades away. And this wasn't just done for emotional impact. There's actually a deeper explanation. The moment the snap happened, Peter's spidey sense went off. His danger sense detected that something was terribly wrong before it fully affected him. Unlike most heroes, Peter didn't just vanish, his body tried to fight back. His enhanced physiology attempted to heal itself and resist the disintegration caused by the Infinity Stones. But the snap wasn't an injury, it was a universal rewrite of existence itself. That internal struggle is why Peter looks confused and scared. It's why he clings to Tony. And it's why he says the heartbreaking line, "I don't feel so good." His body knew something was wrong, but even Spider-Man couldn't stop the power of all 6 Infinity Stones. Now let's jump forward to Avengers Endgame. When the portals open and the heroes return, Captain America finally says the iconic line we'd all been waiting for. But instead of screaming it at the top of his lungs, Cap whispers it. That choice wasn't random. Steve Rogers is a soldier and, more importantly, a strategist. He understands leadership and morale better than almost anyone. At that moment, he knows something crucial. Thor and T'Challa are kings. Their voices carry authority over entire armies. A battle cry from them would inspire far more than a single shout from Cap. So instead of trying to dominate the moment, Cap does what he does best: he leads quietly. His whisper isn't weakness, it's a signal, a green light. And as soon as he says it, Thor and T'Challa charge forward, rallying their forces and turning the battlefield into full-scale war. And finally, one more fascinating detail, this time from Thor: Love and Thunder. When Jane Foster visits New Asgard, she sees the broken pieces of Thor's hammer on display. Naturally, it raises a big question. How did anyone move the hammer if no one could lift it? The answer is simple. They didn't lift it. After Hela shattered the hammer in Thor Ragnarok, the hammer retained its enchantment. Even broken, only the worthy could move it. So instead of lifting the pieces, the people of New Asgard simply dug around the impact site and built the display around it, which means the fragments of Mjolnir are still sitting exactly where Hela destroyed them. Did you know this Marvel movie fun fact? In Spider-Man: Homecoming, Donald Glover plays a character named Aaron Davis. In the comics, Aaron Davis is the uncle of Miles Morales. In the movie, he even mentions that he has a nephew, which basically confirms that Miles Morales exists in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Did you know that the Marvel Cinematic Universe has been answering its own questions years before we even realize it? In the first Avengers movie, there's a quiet but important moment between Bruce Banner and Tony Stark.
The other guy saved my life. That's nice. It's a nice sentiment. Saved it for what?
I guess we'll find out.
At the time, it sounds like a throwaway line, but 9 years later, in Avengers Endgame, that question is finally answered. Bruce Banner, now Professor Hulk, puts on the Infinity Gauntlet and snaps everyone back to life. The Hulk wasn't just strong enough, he was the only one who could survive it. A question planted in 2012 finally paid off in 2019, in Spider-Man: Far From Home. During the final battle, Peter Parker suddenly runs out of web fluid while fighting the drones. This isn't a plot hole. In fact, it's the opposite. In his earlier suits, Peter always had extra web cartridges, designed by Tony Stark as a backup. But this new suit, Peter made it himself. He forgot to add the spare cartridges. It's a subtle reminder that while Peter is brilliant, Tony Stark always thought several steps ahead, accounting for every possible variable, even ones Peter wouldn't notice until it was too late. Now let's talk about Thanos. Did you know that Thanos didn't delay his plan because he was unprepared, but because he was afraid? For years, Thanos avoided Earth and chose to work through others. That's why he allowed Loki to borrow the scepter containing the Mind Stone. It was a massive risk. When Loki failed, Thanos didn't gain the Space Stone, he actually lost the Mind Stone. But at the time, Thanos had no better option, because the Ancient One was still alive. Even with 4 Infinity Stones, Thanos struggled against Doctor Strange. The Ancient One was far more powerful, capable of drawing energy from the dark dimension itself. Facing her directly would have been suicide. The other person Thanos avoided was Odin. Odin wasn't just the king of Asgard, he was one of the most powerful beings in the universe. As long as Odin lived, Thanos stayed in the shadows. Only after Odin's death and the destruction of Asgard in Thor Ragnarok, Thanos finally makes his move. With the Protectors gone, he attacked the Asgardian refugees and claimed the Tesseract, setting Infinity War into motion. Marvel didn't rush Thanos' story. They waited just like he did. Did you know Marvel had to change a scene for the international versions of Captain America? There's a scene where Steve Rogers makes a list of everything he missed while he was frozen. Marvel felt that some references might not make sense to audiences outside the United States, so they created multiple versions of the scene for different countries. In the US version, Steve's list includes the Berlin Wall and the moon landing. In the UK version, you'll find the Beatles and Sean Connery. In the Russian version, the list mentions Yuri Gagarin and the fall of the Soviet Union. And in the German version, it includes Oktoberfest and Currywurst. Why didn't Doctor Strange just hand Thanos the Time Stone instantly? He saw 14,605 futures and only one where they win. In that timeline, he had to give up the stone, but not right away. The fight on Titan wasn't about winning it. was about stalling. Strange was buying time for someone else, and that someone is Scott Lang. Ant-Man had to be inside the quantum realm the moment Thanos snapped, because that's what leads to time travel and the Avengers comeback. And the wildest part? Strange's entire master plan depended on a random rat walking across a control panel 5 years later. The hand movements of Doctor Strange in the Marvel Universe aren't random at all. They were designed by Julian Daniels, a professional magic choreographer. Marvel approached him after seeing his work in a commercial where he performed a unique dance style using fingers, hands, and arms to create shapes. That style became the foundation for Doctor Strange's spellcasting.